What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Flop. Today's episode is episode 15, and we're going to talk about how to adjust to different board conditions. But before we do that, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Triple Crown. They just sent us these sweet blacked out lucky bags, Triple Crown Surefires. I'm absolutely loving these bags. It's one of my favorite materials and like speed ratios to throw. So I really love these bags. Thank you guys so much for sending them. And I can't wait to keep throwing them. Definitely go check out their website, Triple Crown. It's always in the link and down below in the description, and check them out on Facebook as well.
Absolutely. And then we also want to do a special little shout out to our boy Stan Wissink, who sent me this sweet shirt.
Heck yeah.
So thank you for sending. Yeah. And in case you guys don't know, he is the guy who designed the logo for our channel. So he did the flop logo for us, but also you can't have seen a custom cornhole bag on Facebook that this man hasn't designed. He is the guy. Like when you want to have customs done, he is the dude you go to get these done, because he's done so many of them at this point that it's just second nature. You know how you become really good at your craft and then you don't have to really think about it. You know what I mean? It's like it's automatic for him. He just pops out sweet design after sweet design. So You definitely want to check him out if you're in the market for any kind of customs or any kind of logos or graphics. Maybe you want to do a jersey, you need a graphic for a jersey. Reach out to Stan. He can take care of you. So I'm going to read his information for you guys right now, and we'll also have it linked below.
Yep.
And his email is stan@wissinkcreative.com. And his website is www.wissinkcreative.com. We will put this on the screen and it will be linked below. So thanks a lot, Stan. We really appreciate your help with what we've got going on. And we also appreciate your support, because I know you watch. So definitely shout out to Stan. Thank you.
Heck yeah, Stan. You are super awesome. We really appreciate you designing the logo. It was one of our biggest fears when we were getting all of this started. So we really appreciate you getting us something that's very high quality and it's easy to reproduce when we're doing our branding and stuff. So if you guys are looking to do something similar to that, definitely check him out. I would highly recommend him.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah. So let's hop into it. It is summertime. We're all about to be throwing bags all the time. It's just going to be a blast. There's no more, freezing cold, sideways raining. Somehow it's below freezing, but it's still raining at the same time. I don't even understand how this is working, but there's no more of that. It's going to get hot, but it's going to be a great time. And the reason that we kind of have this topic is because, Dad, you laid it all out. You sacrificed for us, and you went through a struggle that every single cornhole player will go through at some point. And that is the humidity changing, the weather changing, and it affecting the conditions of the boards and how your bags respond. So today we're going to be talking about how to adjust to these board conditions. And Dad, kind of bring us into your experience. You played in a regional this past weekend, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah. So I threw myself on the sword of terrible humid board conditions over the weekend.
All for a good topic.
And it's funny because it was venting to you for about 45 minutes straight. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? Let's have this conversation tomorrow on a Zoom call and post it as an episode, because everybody else is dealing with this too.
That's right.
So everyone knows I throw Vikings. I like carpet bags. I throw Vikings. Vikings carpet is usually pretty good in humidity, and people don't believe that it is. You think, oh, humidity, carpet's going to just stall. Well, actually carpet will move a lot better than even like a slow side of a Viper in certain humid conditions. But there is a tipping point, and there is a point when it becomes too humid, and then everything stalls out, except for like fast side material. Viper fast side, you can't really slow it down. Game changer fast side cuts humidity pretty well. But yes, my Vikings were stalling on me, and it was absolute misery. And to be honest, I carry about 9 sets of bags around with me in my Zuka, and nothing that I had on me currently was cutting it. was cutting through the humidity. And this is just tossing in between games and trying to figure out something that would move. And my Vikings, like I said, they were just stalling. Fast bags were still going very slowly, and it was taking a great deal of effort to get anything to move. And so for instance, I did so well, not for instance, but I did so poorly this weekend. I actually asked my partner, who wasn't there. He had to go to a conference out of town, so I was throwing with someone else. But I texted him and I was like, "Hey, has the ACL ever actually moved anybody down a division after a regional?" Like they're like, "Whoops, we've made a terrible mistake. He does not belong.
Something's wrong here.
He doesn't belong in competitive. He's definitely a novice with these numbers." And the worst part of it is like, I didn't throw terrible. I just couldn't get my bags to go in the hole.
Yeah.
So I would throw a bag and it would stop in front of the hole as a perfect block, which is fine. I'm happy with that. But then I would try to go through it and it would just bunch up behind it. And I'm like, okay.
Yep.
And then I would throw the next bag a little harder and it would hit and it would bunch up behind it. And then I would just finally just hurl it with everything in my body. And I hit 2 or 3 perfect dead center pushes that just hit and stalled, didn't go anywhere, or hit and flipped off the board.
Yeah.
But the bags didn't fall. I couldn't get anything to fall. I played game after game after game and round after round after round. And I threw several 3s and 4s that should have legitimately, not just making this up in my imagination, that would have on any other board conditions been 7s, 8s, 9s. These bags would have dropped, no problems. I mean, I was throwing down the middle and I just could not get anything to go.
Yeah.
So it is a nightmare when you get out there on these super humid boards.
Definitely. Absolutely. It's a really surprising thing when you experience the first time. I'm pretty young in the game. I've been playing about a year, and last summer was when I started. And I remember practicing at the house and then going out to a blind draw and throwing some Reynolds bags. And I did not have a flat bag at the time. And just, I would hit a bag in the middle of the board and it would go completely off to the side and it would cut off or come to a screeching halt or whatever. And I just couldn't believe it. And I looked around, I was like, I guess this is why, everyone's throwing game changers. Because it's just tough to get through. And so that's the number one thing. No matter what conditions it is, having a flat bag is so important. And I will be the first to say, like, my bag has not been very flat, throughout the majority of the time that I've been playing this game, but I really recently have gotten it to where I'm very happy with how flat it is. And I'm seeing great results. My bag is moving true once it lands. And so I'm really happy with that, but it just exponentially increases the amount of kicking that's going to happen when the humidity starts getting crazy and you see that film on the board and you realize, I'm going to have to do something different. I may have to throw a different set of bags or whatever.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's like I said, there's a very delicate balance, semi slow boards, carpet still moves. You can still get your carpet to move on it. And what's funny, and a lot of people don't understand this, and I have gotten in almost arguments with people when we'll be at a blind draw and I'm like, they'll flip it over. Oh, the boards are slow. I'm going to throw the fast side. And I'm like, you don't want to do that. If we're throwing carpet, the carpet's going to move. The fast side is not going to move. No, that's not the way this works. It's the fast side. It's the fast side for a reason. It's faster than the other side. But in a mild humid condition, it's not. They switch sides. The carpet becomes the fast side and the fast side becomes the slow side. And it seems counterintuitive, but it is facts, man. And it's so hard for someone to believe that because the name is right there. It's the fast side. And this is the slow side.
It's in the name.
It's in the name.
Yeah.
But in humid conditions, it's not. But again, there is a tipping point, and there is a point when it does, it changes like that. And some carpet does move faster than other carpet. Combat carpet, for instance, mildly humid conditions, it's glue. Done. It's glue. It hits the board. It's not going anywhere. You've got to throw it freaking like Eric Davis hitting a 2-bag push from the front of the board to try to get that thing to slide.
Yeah.
And so it's just not going to move. Whereas a Viking carpet will move a little bit more in that condition, but then there becomes a point when it gets super humid and then carpet's worthless. It's just like throwing a surefire in the humidity. It's just, you're going to hit the board and the board's going to scoot back a foot because it's not going to slide.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah. Carpet bags they can be a secret weapon for the humidity. They really can. We talk about it. The bags, they flip. The fast side becomes the slow side, and the slow side becomes the new fast side. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a roll of carpet or something that you put in the back of a truck and it gets rained on or something like that, or you've ever seen it, but carpet actually becomes very slippery when it gets really wet. And so I don't know. I guess it just applies to like material on bags as well. Sometimes it will move quicker, but I wanted to kind of, you mentioned surefires. You mentioned, a bag like that does get particularly sticky or gum up in humid conditions. And there are a few materials that kind of remain true. A lot of these like hybrid type buffalo board fallout X's are a great example of this mixed material. Yeah, the Wizard, exactly. So I was wondering if we could kind of go through some options, some of the bags that you would think about using in these humid conditions.
Right. And one of the things that really irked me as I was at this tournament that was an hour away was that I didn't have any Wizards or fallouts on me. And I have Wizards and fallouts. So there was I just didn't have any in my bag. I had, let's see, what was I working with yesterday? I had Viper Bees, which is a surefire variant. So that was going to be worthless. I had Cat 3s, which were running slow. I had P90s running slow. I had Contraband Cutthroats. Those were running slow. I had Combats, which I had tried to throw earlier in the day. No dice. That was absolute glue. My Vikings were glue. And then I had, what else did I have? I don't know. I had something else. But none of that. I did not have a single hybrid carpet on me. And I wish I would have, because hybrids do typically move the Wizard, that herringbone sort of pattern that you see on the Wizards, Warlocks, Fallout X's, things like that. And it actually does continue to move a little bit. So I wish I'd have had a set of those on me. And one bag that I did have on me that I didn't try because they were newish, and I just didn't know how they were going to respond. And I didn't even throw them until after doubles. And I was waiting on the very last blind draw of the day, was these Widow R's that are a brand new release from Ultra. And this bag, I'm going to do a review on this bag, but this bag right here, that material on the back, I don't know what that is. It obviously looks like carpet, but I think it's a bit of some kind of hybrid as well. This bag, it wasn't even like the boards were humid when I threw it. And I was disgusted at myself because they were sitting in my bag and I didn't even grab them because they were brand new. I hadn't thrown them. I had washed them and stuff, but I was just like, well, I've never thrown them. I don't want to try to throw something I'm not comfortable with, because I was in a tournament situation. So trying to get points, trying to win. And it was just, I had like 2 hours between the end of doubles and then the beginning of this last blind draw that I was going to play in. So I was like, let me grab the old Widow R's, walk over here and check them out. The first bag I threw hit in the center of the board, slid straight up and dripped in the hole. And I was like, huh. So
that sucks that you found
threw
that
the
out
next
later.
bag straight up, dripped in the hole. Straight up. I think I ended up making a 4-bagger, or I might have thrown the last one off. That seems more like my style. But I threw 3 in and kicked 1 off to the right. And it didn't kick. It flew true. I threw it off to the right. This bag went straight. There was no kick. It was like it wasn't humid at all. Now, it did stick up on the fast side. It was one of those instances where they swapped on me. But also, I had only washed these things. and tumbled them. I didn't put any kind of conditioner, fabric softener, or even wrinkle guard on them, because when I opened them, when I got them from Ultra and I opened them up, they already felt really good. Like just out of the bag, I was like, okay, I was kind of impressed with it. So I just wanted to wash them just to kind of get them a little broke in, you know. But I took them and I threw those things and they were just money. They were just going, sliding right up, sliding right in. And we ended up throwing them. I had a local buddy of mine. It's funny, we go, you know, an hour away for a tournament, and I draw a local guy in the blind draw. But me and Travis, we threw these and we took third. I mean, we didn't have any issues with them. The only reason we lost was just because we had bad rounds. It wasn't because the bags were sticking. It wasn't because the bags were clogging up the hole, because I'm telling you, man, they'd sit on the edge of the hole and then you'd hit the board and they'd drop. My Vikings didn't do that all day. I had balled up Vikings in the hole that weren't going in. But these were hitting, sliding around the back of the hole. They'd be sitting there. You'd hit the bag, the next bag that hit the board, they just drip in. And it was insane. So I am going to do a review on these bags, but these will definitely be with me this summer. Anywhere I go this summer, I'm bringing those bags with me, because from what I saw yesterday on those board conditions, I need something that's going to continue to move. So these guys are going to go with me. The only thing that I can say that I'm looking out for is possibly the Viper option, because I believe they're supposed to be doing a Viper R as well, which I'm assuming will have the same carpet hybrid on the back on the slow side, but we'll probably have like a Viper B fast side. I would say every other variant of Viper that they've done has had the inverse of the fabric that they put on the actual Viper. The Viper 9-speed fabric, they usually use the inside of it for their variants. And that's more of an 8-speed. But this carpet mixed with that 8-speed bag on the front, that could be a perfect bag. So they come out with that Viper R, and it's what I think it's going to be. I will have a set and it will stay with me everywhere I go. And again, it may not be my go-to. I love my Vikings. I'm not hating on them at all. But this was an instance where board conditions mattered. The board conditions were terrible, and I didn't think I had, but I didn't have a bag that was working. So in singles, clogging up, and the first blind draw, clogging up, and the doubles, clogging up. And I just didn't try anything else because I didn't think I had anything that was going to cut it, and that would have cut it. And so I feel really terrible that I didn't try it earlier, because my stats suffered over the weekend. It did. It was terrible. I did not have a good showing this weekend, but I had fun. It's always fun throwing bags and hanging out with people, but
yeah, no doubt.
It's just, that's the lessons you learn about board conditions, and they do matter. So you want to have different options for different board conditions.
Yeah, for sure. Like nobody, not all of us get to live in, like New Mexico, Arizona, where you could literally throw surefires like the entire year round and like be fine, and they'll always slide in the hole and stuff. It's like, we're literally like out here in North Carolina, like Southeast, like I'm Happy Gilmoreing it. I'm running from behind the board and throwing with all of my might as hard as I can. And it's hitting the front and just peeling the wood off the board. And I'm just like, good Lord, man. So, I mean, I definitely see why like a lot of the best players in the world throw these super fast bags, because it's like, no matter where you show up, like no matter where Jamie Graham shows up, like his fire incinerators are going to move. He may have to flip to the fast side. And, I throw these bags quite a bit, try to get pretty comfortable with them, because people just like that big footprint game changer type, all slide type bag. So I try to make sure that I can still throw them. And it really, when you throw bags like that, like those incinerators, I mean, all you have to do is flip them over to the fast side, and it pretty much runs like the slow side, which is still very quick. So I see why the best players, throw these bags, because they can pretty much do what they always do in any conditions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, and those guys also have the advantage of being able to throw hard and accurate, which is very important. One of my favorite players, I love watching Tony Smith play. It's just very entertaining to me. He feels it seems like he can do just about anything he wants to do with the bag, and he throws combats most of the time. And
like no matter what, like it's crazy.
Yeah. I know, no matter what, like the tournament's being held in the 6th layer of hell, and Tony's throwing combats, you
Yeah.
know,
We're
on the
playing with
slow
rubber
side.
topped boards, and I'm going to
Yeah,
throw
rubber
combats.
topped board, 6th layer of hell. Tony's throwing combats.
Yep.
The rubber has also been sprayed with hairspray.
Yep.
He's throwing combats, and they're sliding up the board because he's throwing them nuclear speed.
Yeah, exactly.
Just and but you know, that's the thing, is I'll lose accuracy if I start to throw super hard, which, like, when it comes to like super hard pushes and things like that, typically not a good shot for me, because I lose my accuracy. So
Yeah.
and again, you know, hey, we know our audience, we know our target demographic is people like us who are, you know, in the mid areas of this game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I hope we have advanced level players and stuff watching too, and I hope that they're able to get something out of what we talk about.
Yeah.
But we get the most feedback, questions, comments, things like that on our videos and our, you know, messages and things like that are from people who are like, hey man, I've been playing for 3 or 4 months, and you know, what's your opinion on this? Or hey, do you
Yep.
think you guys could talk about, you know, this? And we do have a few topics that we are going to actually bring up in future episodes that we've gotten from you guys. So please keep leaving your comments, and we do try to respond to every comment. So
Yeah.
please keep writing us. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate the support. I know I digress a little bit, but I felt that was important to say. But
Mm-hmm.
so our target demographic is people like us who are still growing, still learning. And for us, it's easier to change your bag than it is to change your mechanics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you can throw the same bag, the same mechanic style, if you can do your same regular throw that's not any harder, not any softer, just by switching out bag A for bag B, then that's what you need to do. You know, there's no sense in trying to hurl a combat on the the rubber topped board in the 6th layer of hell. It's no sense in doing that for you.
No.
Just grab yourself something quicker that's going to move up the board a little easier, you know, because again, you could lose that accuracy. But
Yeah.
that again, that's just why it's important to have multiple options at your disposal.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, if you think about it, we always talk about it. When you're playing this game, it's like you want to be able to replicate the same thing, the same throw every single time. And you know what you don't have practice doing typically is having to throw it harder than you normally do, or having to throw it with less arch than you normally do. That's not what you're practicing at home. That's not what you have thousands of reps doing. What you have thousands of reps doing is releasing from your same release point, having the same strength and grip and everything like that. So you want, like, that's why we have different bags. That's why we have different materials, is so that we can try to do the same thing every time and not have to affect what we have hundreds of hours, thousands of hours practicing doing.
Right. And one other thing that is just popping in my head as we're talking about this is that some people watching this episode today might be thinking, when I was going through the woes of the tournament, well, you mentioned you had, you know, Cat 3s, and you mentioned you had P90s, and you had even combats. Why don't you just flip it over and throw the fast side? Because that doesn't slow down as much in humid conditions. And it's still, you know, if it's cutting through the humidity and it's still running very high, I'm not used to throwing bags that fast. So for me, flipping it over is almost more of a detriment, because it's like I'm not comfortable throwing the fast side. I mentally block myself. When I throw a fast side bag, I usually take too much off of it. I end up throwing a bunch of front boards because I'm trying to put too much arch on it, because it's the fast side. I don't want it to hit and shoot off. I don't want it to skip the hole. I don't want it to, you know, do whatever, front board, sideboard, whatever it is, because I'm just not used to throwing the fast side of the material. Now, I have implemented this in my practice session, and I'm actually, when I'm out there and I've got, you know, 4 sets of bags and I'm just chunking, I will purposefully, I'll just grab a stack of bags from the board, however they are in my hand, I will throw that material, I'll throw that bag. So if I grab it and I'm holding the fast side and the fast side's down, then I throw it. I'm trying to work that into my practice so that I am more comfortable. And then maybe in the future, I can run to an event and be like, oh, the boards are absolute glue. No big deal. I'll just throw the fast side. I just wanted to make that. It was like a little aside thought, because that is the obvious thing when you're talking. Well, you've got super fast bags. Why are you not just throwing the fast side and Bob's your uncle or whatever? But
Yeah.
like I said, because mentally there is a mental game to throwing a fast side bag. If you're just you're growing, trying to get better player, you don't typically flip the bag over and throw the fast side too much, especially with a super fast bag that's like an 8 or a 9 speed,
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't just flip over a faster bag and throw it that way.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like you're at a regional, you're tracking the points and everything like that. If you're at a relaxed blind draw, there's no iPads, we're not score tracking or anything like that.
Yeah.
I would definitely be way more willing to throw whatever side of the bag. It's so low consequence, it doesn't really matter. But for us, it's like, blind draws are our practice, and when we go out to regionals, like, that's our, as a lower level player, like that's our Super Bowl. Like we're getting all hyped up all through the week. We want to go, we want to do well. And so it would be hard to convince someone to change all of their throwing mechanics and throw that fast side exclusively.
It is. You're absolutely right. And of course, we all have the advantage of hindsight after the fact. Okay. Yeah. But when I'm in it and I'm in the trenches and I'm trying desperately to do, and it's like I said, it sounds like an excuse, and I promise you, I'm not that guy. I own it. When I throw horrible, I own it. And I tell you, I threw absolutely horrible. The problem yesterday, I didn't throw horrible. I just couldn't close. I couldn't get my bags to fall. And it was because I didn't want to. So the gift of hindsight, maybe I would have thrown better throwing the fast side of a bag, because maybe I couldn't get my bags to fall. So maybe I would have had a better option. Couldn't have been any worse, right? I mean, heck, after the first blind draw, I think my PPR was like a 5.15. The only person who had a lower PPR than me was my partner in the blind draw. We were the bottom 2. That's how bad it was, because it was just glue. I couldn't get anything to fall. I was on target. I just could not get them to fall. But, it is what it is. Like I said, maybe hindsight, it's a wonderful gift. Maybe I just throw a fast side, fast bag and YOLO. You know what I mean? Could it be any worse than a 5.15? Probably not.
No.
But, it is what it is.
I think it could be.
That was a game time decision, and I didn't make the right call. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. And that's, I'm sure everybody listening is super excited to learn from that, and hopefully they can they can take that information and make a better decision.
I'm going to learn from it. I mean, if I'm in that situation again, I'm going to definitely just, these bags are not sliding. I'm just going to throw the fast side and hope for the best, unless I can use these bad boys, because then the boards don't care. Man, I'm telling you, dude, they were glue and these suckers were running. So
heck yeah.
And I don't know if they'll slow down when they break in. That's to be determined, because like I said, they were very fresh. They had been washed once and tumbled for an hour and a half. That is all that was done to them. So they could slow down. I don't know. But anyways, definitely a good option.
Heck yeah. Yeah. You guys heard it here first. The Widow R from Ultra could be the answer to your humidity problems that you guys are having. I know that a lot of people like the Fallout X for that reason. They say that it moves pretty well. And I think but it's from Buffalo, the sweet shirt I just got. Those guys are awesome. I really want to get some of their mini boards. Those things just look so fun. Like when it's raining or something, they've got all kinds of cool stuff on their website out there.
Yeah. And this obviously is not a paid promotion, but also, if you haven't looked at some of their new tattoo art designs, they are crazy.
Those American traditional type designs. Those are really cool.
Yes. You have a tattoo, I believe, that's very similar to that style.
Yeah, my tattoos look similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah, but they are sick. Man, they are some of the best looking bags that I have seen in a hot minute. Yeah. So definitely, again, not paid promotion. Go check out Buffalo Board's new tattoo art designs. They are crazy. But yeah, the Fallout X is a great humid board option. Wish I'd have had mine with me. Wish I would have just tried these earlier, but I know the Fallouts would have moved. I've always had good positive experience with them in humid conditions in the past, but I just didn't bring them with me. But I told you I threw some I got some Wizards right now in my back seat that I'm throwing in the Zuka.
There you go.
And yeah, I'm going to make sure that I have something. I want to make sure I have options, because when you're in blind draw situations, it's just so hard sometimes. Referring to our episode we had on whose bags do we throw, it's just so hard sometimes to talk people into a certain bag,
Oh yeah.
So you got to have options. And sometimes that's just name recognition. Like I told the story in one of our other videos about showing up to my local blind draw with my Cat 3s, and they were great bags. And there's not a person listening to me right now that would say, no, the Cat 3 is not a good bag. Yeah. But back then they were like, oh, I don't want to throw those. You got any Vipers? Like,
yep.
But the name recognition. But so it's just very tough sometimes to get somebody to say to them, hey, these boards are glue. Let's throw these bags because they'll move on there. And they're just like, oh, I don't know about those bags.
Yep.
So, you got to have options. I feel like the Wizard's a good option because people are like, oh, Wizards, I've heard of them. Yeah, we'll throw those.
There you go.
Whereas you might go, let's throw these Fallout X. And they're going to go, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty much the same bag, but like, okay, whatever. Go off, sis.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, moral of the story here is humidity changes the game for sure. It's definitely important to have different bags. Sometimes carpet can be your best friend, like a true carpet, Pro Advantage, whatever type of bag. Those sides will switch. And I would probably, in humid conditions, I'd probably try to stay away from those like surefire slow side 7 variants, all those bags that kind of live in that family. That P90, they'll kind of gum up a little bit too. So yeah.
Some of your 6-7 speed bags will absolutely ball up on you. The surefires with that little fuzzy back, 5 speed on fast boards are absolute money.
So
surefires, deadheads. I got these SW Bagco Dawns back here. It's a surefire variant.
Yeah, these things are money. I've been throwing them. I love this speed. I really do.
Quick board conditions, they are money. But as soon as that humidity number starts to go up, if you got a curly haired wife like I do, as soon as her hair starts to act up on you, you got to put away the surefire variants, because
that's hilarious.
They ain't sliding. They're
not. All right, everybody. Well, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for all your feedback as usual. Please leave comments down below if you guys have any bags that work really well in humid conditions. We would love to hear from you guys if you have any suggestions. We're always trying to get better information. Don't go to a blind draw and withhold this information that you have. If you know that your partner wants to throw a bag that you just know for a fact is not going to move, maybe help them out. Be like, yeah, dude, like I've been throwing for a while and I know that, this material is not going to be super helpful for us. And just like we're always trying to increase everybody's knowledge and take our experiences like you had this weekend where maybe things didn't work out in your favor, and try to give people the best information to do better in the future. Thanks as always, guys. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one.
See you later, guys.